Good morning, children. Today I welcome you to class 11. You may be very excited. Today we are going to start with our first lesson, and that lesson which I am going to do is human physiology, and in that also the chapter about we are going to study about respiration, and the name of the chapter is breathing and exchange of gases. Now children, why do we breathe? Why do we take this oxygen inside? And why do we throw this carbon dioxide outside? Because this oxygen helps in providing energy by oxidation of food. So the main purpose of breathing is to get energy. So the different topics which we are going to study today are external and internal respiration, respiratory organs, human respiratory system, mechanism of breathing, respiratory volumes, exchange of gases, transport of gases, and disorders of respiratory system. Now children, first let us see what is respiratory system. What is the system? There are different systems in the body: digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system, circulatory system. One system means when many organs combine to perform a particular function, that is known as a system. So the respiratory system is the set of organs that allows a person to breathe and exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide throughout the body. Now if you see children, we breathe. What is the purpose of breathing? To convert the food into energy. This oxygen helps in converting the food to energy, or we also many times we call burning of food, or sometimes we call oxidation of food. When food and oxygen combine to provide energy, carbon dioxide, which is a waste, is thrown out. Now there are two types. One is known as external respiration and one is known as internal respiration. External respiration means breathing, or this is a physical process only by which we take in oxygen and throw out carbon dioxide. And internal respiration is the respiration when this oxygen from the lungs goes to the cell, and there it helps in oxidation of food to convert the food into energy. The food may be protein, it may be carbohydrate, it may be fat. So breathing and external respiration is same, and internal respiration or cellular respiration, because this converting the food into energy takes place inside the cell, we also call it cellular respiration. Now children, there are different organisms and their needs are different. So there are different organs for respiration in different organisms. See, as evolution occurred, different organisms, they devised different means of obtaining oxygen from their surroundings. The environment in which an animal lives greatly determines how an animal respires. In unicellular organisms, diffusion occurs across the cell membrane, and this is sufficient for the organism to supply energy. Now children, what is diffusion? Diffusion means when substances, it may be solid or it may be liquid or it may be gas, move from higher concentration to lower concentration, or we also can say move from where they are more to where they are less till they become equal. So the main process by which this exchange of gases takes place is by diffusion. So, in simple organisms like poriferans, coelentrates, flatworms, and unicellular organisms, respiratory or breathing takes place through the entire body surface, and that is sufficient to meet their energy requirements. Because every cell in their body is close to the external environment, and that is sufficient for them. But the multicellular organisms are larger, so they had to evolve specialized respiratory organs, because simple diffusion was not sufficient for them to provide them with full energy needs. So, the other examples are like earthworm or Annelida. You may have studied these phylums in class 9. Cutaneous respiration. Cutaneous respiration means respiration through skin. Their skin is moist, like earthworm also, frog when it is in water, tadpoles. Their diffusion takes place through their moist skin. Now, arthropods. Arthropods are like insects, like cockroaches and all. They have a special network of tubes that is known as tracheal respiration. The network of tubes is known as trachea. So, arthropods have tracheal respiration. Now, gills, you know well, fishes, not only fishes, children, aquatic arthropods, mollusks, tadpoles, all exchange gases by the help of gills. These gills are richly supplied by blood vessels and they are in water, so exchange of gases takes place by these gills. Then in certain arthropods, the respiratory organs are book lungs. And the most advanced, the terrestrial vertebrates, they breathe through lungs. They may be amphibians like frog, reptiles like crocodile, birds and all mammals. Their respiratory organs are lungs. Now let us study about the human respiratory system. Now, what are the organs which are in the human respiratory system? They are external nares, or we call them nostrils, then nasal chamber or nasal cavity, that leads to nasopharynx, then comes your larynx, after that is glottis, trachea and lungs. So, these are the different organs of the respiratory system. Now, let us study about them a little in detail. Nose you all know, we also call them nostrils, or we also call them external nares. They consist of a pair of holes through which the air enters, and this air enters to the nasal cavity. Now, nasal cavity contains hair which help to trap the dust particles or germs, and it also secretes mucus that also helps in trapping these dust particles and germs. And nasal cavity is also responsible for the smell. It detects the odor of the inspired air. Now, next is your pharynx. What is pharynx, children? This is a passage for both food and air. So, it is a common passage where food and air can move through the lower part of the body. Then comes your larynx. Now, what is larynx? Below pharynx is larynx. It conducts air into the trachea and produces sound. This larynx opens into the area known as laryngopharynx, and there is a slit like aperture known as glottis, from where the air enters to the trachea. this glottis always remains open, but when we eat food, that the food particles may not enter the windpipe, this glottis is covered by a cartilaginous flap-like structure known as epiglottis. Maybe this term you may have read in class 10 also. So this glottis means the aperture which opens into the trachea. This is covered by a cartilaginous flap-like structure known as trachea. Now what is trachea, children? It is a flexible tube about 12 centimeter in length and it is about 2.5 centimeter in diameter. It is also known as windpipe. It starts from the larynx and extends till the fifth thoracic vertebra and divides into two bronchi. It starts from the larynx and extends till fifth thoracic vertebra. Now what is thoracic? Thoracic means chest region and vertebra are the bones of our backbone or vertebral column. So the backbones of the thoracic region or the chest region, it reaches till the fifth one. There are 12 thoracic vertebra and then it divides into two branches and these two branches are known as bronchi. Then each bronchi enter into lungs. Now each bronchi in trachea, they are supported by C-shaped cartilaginous rings. Why? To prevent from collapsing. Collapsing means that if there is no air, so if they will collapse, what will happen? The air will not be able to enter the lungs and we may die. So they are supported by C-shaped cartilaginous ring to prevent their collapsing during inspiration. Inspiration means when we inhale. Now lungs. Now children, covering of the lungs. Where are the lungs present? Thoracic cavity, also we call it chest cavity, we also call it pleural cavity also. Now each lung is enclosed by two membranes and these membranes are called pleura. The outer membrane is called parietal pleura and remains attached to the walls of thoracic cavity. The inner membrane is known as visceral pleura and it is closely attached to the lungs. And there is a very narrow space between the two pleural membranes and this is known as pleural cavity. Now what is present between them? It contains pleural fluid that acts as a lubricant, ensuring minimum friction during breathing. So it helps in easy movement of the lungs during breathing, because you know when we breathe in and breathe out, the lungs change their shape. When we breathe in, the lungs will become larger. When we breathe out, the lungs will become smaller. So it helps in ensuring minimum friction during breathing. Now the structure of lungs. They occupy most of the thoracic cavity and the lungs are mostly soft, spongy and elastic organs which are pinkish in color. Now each lung is divided into lobes by fissures. Fissures means grooves also we call them. And the right lung has 3 lobes and the left lung has 2 lobes. See, below the left lung there is heart. So there are 2 lobes and the right lung has 3 lobes. Each of the primary bronchi divides into a number of secondary and tertiary bronchi and then it subdivides into bronchioles and these bronchioles lead to alveoli, or we call it air sacs also. There are about 300 million of alveoli in the 2 lungs. So this bronchi, when there are 2, we call it bronchi, and singular we call it bronchus. This bronchus divides into secondary bronchi, then tertiary bronchi, then bronchiole, and ultimately the terminal bronchioles that further divides into alveoli or air sacs. Now, air sacs, there are about 300 millions of alveoli in the two lungs. These alveoli are very thin walled and they consist of a network of capillaries which helps in the exchange of gases. So, these are the different organs of your respiratory system. Thank you.